Howdy. We are your go-to award-winning car talk show in wheel time. Coming up, we talk with John Rawson from Apex Motorworks. Is that right?
Yep.
And he is all about road racing. That's happening down in Daytona. We're going to talk about the cars that are competing down there. So we're going to continue our theme about SCCA and road racing, that sort of stuff. We also have our Ram Tracks feature, an inside look into the Ram Nation and the stories making automotive news headlines this week. That's all coming up in this portion of our show. Howdy, along with Mike Out of This World, Mars, and King Conrad DeLong, I'm Don Armstrong. As a matter of fact, right now, why don't we just head on down to Daytona and John Rawson, Apex Motorworks.
No,
Pro-Am.
I'm sorry.
Pro-Am.
Hey, can you guys hear me?
Pro-Am. Oh, I'm sorry.
Yes. Yeah, we can hear you. John, how you doing?
I'm doing good, Conrad. How are you guys?
Oh,
Awesome.
What? I can't hear you. The car's going by.
Oh, look at that. Out there at Daytona. That's fun.
Can you see it? Okay, I'm trying my best. I'm a first-time Zoom caller, so there you go.
Rotate your phone 90 degrees so we see it in landscape, and then it gets us a wider picture.
There you go.
Oh, much better.
All right.
Thank you.
So,
Okay, how's it going, guys?
well, good. And you?
Oh, well, it's hot. It was raining earlier. We ran the first hour and a half in the rain. Cleared out now, drying up, and everybody's going a lot faster than they were.
So, John, I have to ask you, what kind of cars are running behind you out there at 1,000 miles an hour?
I'm sorry, I can't hear you, Don. I'm sorry.
Tell us what classes of cars are running out there, John.
Okay, so this is the World Racing League, WRL, and there are 5 classes of cars. The fastest is called GTO. That's for like Porsche Cayman GT4s, BMW M2 competitions, stuff like that. Really fast, high-dollar cars. Our car is an older M3. It runs in the next class down called GP1. GP1, GP2, GP3, GP4. They're all power to weight based classes. So just sort of depends on how much horsepower you got and how much you weigh. That's where you end up.
And how is this in the restart of all of the pandemic and stuff? Is this kind of their first event since the
Yes, it is. Yeah, so we actually did their last event right before the pandemic started. That was at Barber Motorsports Park. And then the week later, they started all the lockdown, and this is our first race back. They had to cancel, I think, 2 or 3 events in between. But this is our triumphant return to racing, and it's a lot of fun. We do have to do a few extra things for the COVID. We have to wear masks when we're not in our pit stall.
John, I need you to hold that microphone up to your mouth so we can hear you better.
But it's been pretty trouble-free.
John, we need you to hold that microphone up to your mouth so we can hear you a little bit better.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yes,
that's
much better.
So
Okay,
with this, is WRL going to try and get their whole season back in, or as they compress it into a shorter period of time, or what's their plan?
I think their plan is to hold all the rest of the events as scheduled, based on the tracks and when, if the tracks are going to be allowed to host events. So I honestly don't know when the next one is. We're not planning to do another race until COTA, Circuit of Americas, in December.
Okay. Hey, but you guys, it sounds like you get to all of the big tracks. You're at Daytona, you've been at Skip Barber, you're going to COTA. Are you guys going to be at Laguna Seca?
I don't think we run there.
Okay.
We don't run at Laguna Seca, do we? No, we don't run at Laguna Seca.
Because, it's fun to see that class of cars running at all the big name tracks and the history.
It is. It's really, it's great for us amateur guys, that are paying for all this ourselves. We get to go race at the finest facilities. This place is amazing. And the staff here is super nice, very helpful. And, we love it. We've been back. This is our 4th time to race here. And we're going to keep coming back as long as we can because it's so much fun.
John, what kind of car did you on there?
We have an older 97 M3 BMW. It's got a lot of neat aero stuff on it. So we're running pretty solid right now in our class. There's about 45 cars overall running, 14 in our class, and we're bouncing around between second place and fifth place, depending on the pit stops.
And
So is this a timed event or a mild event?
Yeah, this is a timed event. It's 14 hours.
Oh,
So
my gosh.
Yeah, we started at 9 a.m. We'll end tonight at 11 p.m. Eastern time.
So, John,
so
are you
when you guys go to bed tonight, I'll still be doing stuff, running around here.
Are you actually driving the car or no?
Hopefully.
Okay, well, very good. And I might want to
see me?
mention the fact that if my memory serves me correctly, that straightaway that's behind you, John, that straightaway that's behind you is actually.
I can't really hear Don at all. I can hear Conrad pretty good.
So that straightaway that we're looking at behind you is actually the finish line of the NASCAR track, and as they come to the end of that, they dive into turn one. Because you guys are basically running the same road course that everybody else that runs major road circuits.
Exactly. Yeah, we run the full road course here, just like the IMSA 24 Hours does in January.
So on the back straight and the front straight, where you kind of hit max speed, what speed is your M3 running?
Yesterday in practice, we hit about right at 150.
Oh, wow.
In our car, and today it's a little slower because of the rain, but it's drying off, so we may get that fast later on here in a little bit once the track's completely dry.
And John, you are one of the drivers, right? You take a turn behind the wheel.
That's right. Yeah, I've got 3 other teammates that we're all drivers and pit crew and mechanics and everything. So we all share basically all the duties, to keep this operation going.
And do you find did you choose the M3 because you find it to be relatively trouble-free and doesn't require a lot of, other than the normal maintenance of tires and such?
Knock on wood, yes. It's been a pretty trouble-free race car. We do have to do, obviously, quite a bit of maintenance. And, we bought it it was already a race car for a different kind of series. And we had to make some modifications to it so that it would run endurance races. We actually kind of had to depower it a little bit so we would fit in the class just fine. But we've made some other upgrades, larger brakes, better gearing, stuff like that, so that it would be more competitive.
So in the course of a 14-hour race, will you have to put brakes on it?
We should not, actually.
Okay, good.
We should not have to put tires or brakes on it because the rules, we have to run a 200 tread wear tire, which all the manufacturers make a racing tire that fits that bill. But they are really long lasting. The series is sponsored by Hankook tires. We are not running Hankooks this event. We're running some Dunlops that we had already purchased prior. But, all the tire companies are really supporting this kind of racing right now. It's a lot of fun.
So, John, let me ask you. So, there's 4 of you. How long do you sit behind the wheel when you're driving? I mean, how do you separate 14 hours worth of driving?
Well, that's sort of it's hard to figure that out. We kind of figured that out on the fly. Our first driver is still in the car, so he's been in for 2.5 hours.
Oh my gosh.
He's going to try to stay in for another tank of fuel, which we're going to have to add here shortly. And if he doesn't wear out, he'll probably be done driving after that stint. The other 3 of us will try to go 2.5, 3 hours at a time. Just kind of depends on how the math works out. Sometimes we'll get out, take a break, and then somebody else will get in and go and stuff like that. So there's a lot of strategy.
You're not really
involved.
set up in anything specific.
And how long will a tank of fuel last?
Right now, in the wet, a tank lasted an hour and a half. In the dry, it's going to last about an hour and 10, hour and 15, we hope.
Okay.
So
cool.
That's 16 gallons of gas.
Well, that's not too bad. And then when the car comes in, it's just the other 3 people or the pit crew, or do you have other support people there with you?
We have one other guy with us this weekend that's helping us kind of be he's the fire bottle man. So his job is to hold a fire extinguisher ready in case something happens while we are adding fuel to the car.
And we hope he's never busy.
Yeah, right. It's a job that we don't ever have to use. So.
Yeah, last week we did the show on car haulers, and how big of a hauler did you bring your team out there to Daytona in?
Well, ours is really small by comparison. I wish I was over in the paddock. I could show you some of the rigs. Some of these teams really have some, first-class semi-truck haulers that could be at an IndyCar race or a NASCAR race. Ours is a Friends 3/4 ton pickup and a 24-foot trailer that we bought about 5 or 6 years ago.
Well, cool. Yeah, we're going to have Alec Udell on the show, who's now become a BMW driver as well, and he's out of the Woodlands. You know who Alec is, right?
Nice, good deal.
Yeah. So thanks a lot for joining us. We really appreciate it. I think you're going to be back on with us in a bit for the. No, never mind.
But good luck. Good luck and stay safe out there.
All right. Thanks, Mike. Thank you, guys.
Right. Thank you, John Rawson with Pro-Am. I'm mistaken that he was with Apex, but that's
Richard.
Yeah, that's
Richard was quick to make note that it was Pro-Am.
Yeah. Thank you.
So it's nice we have an active.
And by the way, Pro-Am's over on Richmond Avenue here in the Houston area. All right, moving right along. Time now for our Jeep Trails features. In Wheel Times look into the world of Jeeping.
As you move, things kind of change around here. We move into the summer months with COVID and everything. Everybody trying to figure out how to social distance. But the Jeep lifestyle kind of leads to that because you're out and about, out in the wild, whether you're down at the beach, whether you're up in the mountains.
I'm in the wild right now.
Yeah.
You're in the weeds.
Deep. The wild of in-wheel time. Yeah. So one of the things you can do, if you're looking for someplace to go, someplace different, you can go out and you can go to Jeep.com and look at their Jeep Badge of Honor features that they have. It's under the lifestyle. And this is some trails that are set up around the country that you can go to. It's the map of the trail. It gives you some instructions how to get there. But one of the great things about this is you can go there, you can enjoy the facilities, and you can pick it up on your phone on the app. But you can also, once you're there and you've checked in and everything, you can collect a badge of honor, what Jeep's Badge of Honor. And this is basically, I've seen a guy that had 6 of these on his Jeep that he had been to different places, and it's kind of like a little badge, like in the Boy Scouts or something.
I get a badge of honor every time I do this show.
Yes,
I give it to myself.
A merit badge of honor. So.
Yeah.
So, and it's got different difficulties, level of difficulties for the off-road portion and stuff. So it's a way to kind of get involved and kind of keep track of some of the things you've done and then share it whenever you're with your friends. So Jeep Badge of Honor, go to Jeep.com and check it out under lifestyle.
And don't a lot of those people put those badges on the Jeep as a conversation starter?
Up on the fender, like up on the fenders.
I've been
there.
That's
exactly what it is. Yeah, been there, done that, got the badge.
So to speak.
Got the badge.
This week in automotive history and inside the mystery garage, coming up next on the In Wheel Time Car Show. We are all things automotive.
When might you be buzzed? When you suddenly love everything.
You guys, I love this song. I love these nachos. I love our kickball league. Ugh! I love this guy. What's your name? You know what I'd love? A ride when it's time to head out.
If you see a buzzed warning sign, call for a ride when it's time to go home. Buzz driving is drunk driving. A message from NHTSA and the Ad Council.
I love your car. Is this real leather?
A social distancing tip.
Putting distance between yourself and others is critical to slowing the spread of coronavirus. So here are ways to stay in contact without the physical contact part. Call, send a text, set up a video conference, post on social media, dedicate a song on the radio. If you have symptoms of fever, dry cough, and shortness of breath, call your healthcare provider before going to their office. For more info, visit coronavirus.gov.
Let's all do our part, because we're all #AloneTogether. Brought to you by the Ad Council.
It's the In Wheel Time Car Show. It's your all things automotive weekly car talk show. We are live on YouTube and Facebook each and every Saturday, 10 a.m. to noon Central, and we hope you'll join us. Thanks for riding with us today. And right now it's time for the Mystery Garage. And if we have that wide shot, you can you show this back here? Well, no, that's fine. I was going to say, because we started off with going all right, what are we going to make this? And we're going to make this the Mystery Garage. So every week we kind of take a look at what's in the Mystery Garage.
Or somebody's garage.
No, it's the Mystery Garage.
Mystery Garage.
Yeah, it's the Mystery Garage. Now, I have to tell you that this week's Mystery Garage comes to us from Hemmings. And let's go ahead and take that tour, shall we, Jeff? This is a 1,400 square foot place. 1,400 square foot place here. We kind of
looks like it's full of British cars as well. I see.
Yeah. This basically is a 3-story garage barn combination. This is up in the Northeast. And again, I took this from Hemmings. They send out a little thing every day.
Oh, yeah, I get it.
And so this was one, a guy up there, he's got a Victorian-style house outside of Boston built in 1894. Now, the garage was built a little bit after that, but the barn part was part of the original garage, which is standard wood frame 2-car structure. The second floor is where he kept his bigger spare parts. But, you know, storage is very important, especially when you've got a 2-car garage. And we're going to show you some bins that he had set up. You know, you can buy the shelves that, Lord knows I've got plenty of them around here, really cheap. And you can buy them at Home Depot, whatever. They come with a particle board shelf, but we found out that in today's moisture-laden Houston area,
particle board turns to mush.
Well, it does, and it sags if you
Before it turns to mush, it gets
soft.
Lots of things sag when you get old and wet.
You would know about the wet part. I don't know
It's
any.
just a humid room here, Don.
That's what it was.
Well,
so,
he's got a pretty interesting collection of stuff there. I see BMW 2002, some MG stuff.
Well, but I wanted to point out the fact that plastic tubs like that, you can kind of see through. Those are cheap at Walmart. And the shelves are really cheap as well at Home Depot. And, you know, it makes retrieving parts really easy when you kind of compartmentalize everything. I wanted to make that a point. In the next photograph, the 26-foot area has the workbench on it. And you notice that he's kind of split up his workbench. So he's got the top part of the tool chest on the workbench. And the roll-around is next to an actual parts cabinet over there, the bright red one.
And the sandblaster in front of him, or the parts cleaner in front of him with the Cooper Tire sign on it.
Yeah, and this is a working garage, but you know what I really like about this? I love the wooden floor.
Yeah.
And that just really kind of makes it. Clearly, he has sanded it. He's fixed it all up. But you'll notice as well that underneath the cars, he does have an impermeable pad down there.
Yeah.
So he doesn't
get oil soaked.
Yeah, you don't want that oil soaked stuff. No, we don't do any of that. Now, as far as lighting is concerned, cheap. These lights that I have in here in Studio A, I bought those, and they were about $12 a piece.
Actually,
at
I remember
Home
you
Depot.
called me when you were buying them.
Yeah, and these are LEDs because I used to buy fluorescents, and what a total pain. But you know, I'm old school. Now, this particular garage, not insulated. However, with 5 months of really cold weather up there, it's too much to work in the cold, and he's working on getting a heater in there.
Well, and too much wood and open flame heater probably wouldn't be a good mix.
No, but you'd have to do your homework on exactly what kind of heater you wouldn't want to put a floor heater.
Well, I'll be honest with you. He's got the garage is full of British cars, so he's used to not having any heaters. Probably half of the electrical system doesn't work either. Oh, sorry.
There's all of that. I remember the 1975 Chevrolet Monza that I had just purchased from Richardson Chevrolet. And I was taking a trip up to Dallas right after I bought the car. And it was cold outside. I was going to a bowling tournament of all things. And guess what?
The heater didn't work.
The heater didn't work.
Oh, gosh.
All the way up there, all the way back. Blankets galore, but it still wasn't enough.
Well, he's got a cool little collection of Triumphs and stuff in there, including a couple of them in projects.
I saw that garage, and I thought, this has got to be the mystery garage this week. Okay, enough of that. Hey, if you're a member of a car, truck, or Jeep club, we'd like to put your bunch in our Car Club Spotlight. All you have to do is shoot us an email with the contact information. That's info@inwheeltime.com. Time now for This Week in Auto History, and Conrad has that.
So Alice Hoyer Ramsey, a 22-year-old housewife in 1909 and a mother from New Jersey, became the first woman to drive across the United States with three female companions, none of whom knew how to drive a car. Insert comedy line here, because to this day, there's still an issue with it. In 1939, Scottish race car...
We're going to get mail on that.
Send it to
info@inwheeltime.com.
Yeah. In 1939, Scottish race car driver Jackie Stewart was born. In 1947...
Is he still alive?
Yes, he is.
Is he?
And he's still... Well, Formula One's kind of down
Didn't
at the
he
moment.
get fired from the Indy 500?
Not that I recall. Well, no, but the whole... You mean as far as an announcer?
Yeah.
I don't remember that he got fired, but the announcing changed away from ABC and went to somebody else, and he didn't go with it when that happened. He does Heineken. That's right. He does do Heineken commercials. In 1947, Saab, who was a military aircraft provider during World War II, built its first vehicle, the Saab prototype, model 92001. So,
and they were so good they pulled out of the United States.
Yes, they did. And
because
then
they couldn't sell a thing here.
A year later, in 1948, was the first Porsche that was completed, and it was actually called Number One. Ferdinand Porsche built his own car in this little sawmill in Austria.
Didn't I read something recently about that car being found?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, they have that car in the museum.
Okay.
And then in 1952, Maurice Ollie, a chief engineer for Corvette, had completed the first chassis codenamed Opel that became...
Opel.
Became the 1953 Corvette. The prototype Corvette, the chassis code name was Opel.
I have never heard that in my entire life.
Ford Motor Company formed its styling...
The chassis name. Well, yeah. Okay,
the
so we're going to
prototype.
name the prototype chassis Opel.
Ford Motor Company in 1954 was the name that they had introduced the Edsel. Now, the Edsel didn't come out for a couple of years and was a complete bomb. In 1962...
It was ugly.
Well, yeah. Well, it was advanced for its day.
Oh, my God.
There have been some uglier cars since. Remember the Pontiac Aztek?
Vividly, thank you. I didn't want to.
In 1962, on this day, Credit Suisse opened the first drive-through window at a bank. So I thought that was an interesting piece of automotive information. In 1967, A.J. Foyt and Dan Gurney were the only All-American team to win the Le Mans 24 Hours, and they were driving a Ford GT40.
I didn't know that Foyt was part of that. I'll be.
And then in 2006, the animated film Cars was released from Pixar Studios, and it roared into the theaters across the United States. And Cars was the first ever Academy Award winner for Best Animated Feature.
I'd believe that. What a great movie that was.
Cool movie. And when you really see the backside and read to all of the characters that were voices of the car, Paul Newman was a voice in that movie.
Tow Mater.
Well, that was he's still
Larry the Cable
Larry
Guy.
the Cable Guy. But the Hudson race car was Paul Newman. Was the voice of it. So a lot of very famous voices in that show.
Hey, you're watching the In Wheel Time Car Show. We thank you for riding along with us, and we're going to have today's automotive news stories right after this.
Texas Truck Works is your go-to truck customizer. From mild-to-wild lift kits, custom wheels, and steering and handling enhancements to the best personal and commercial wraps, Texas Truck Works delivers. Let Texas Truck Works founder Scott Stevens help you get the most out of your truck or Jeep. Texas Truck Works has decades of customizing experience, including power adders and complete engine swaps. Let the Texas Truck Works team design an upgrade plan that fits your budget. Get truck attitude today at TexasTruckWorks.com.
GTG, BRB, OMW, be there in a few. You may think that these kinds of texts are fine because of their length, and you can easily send them at a stoplight. But no, answering one text can take your attention away from the road for 5 seconds. And traveling at 55 miles an hour, that's enough time to travel the length of a football field. Make good decisions. Don't text and drive.
Visit StopTextStopWrecks.org. A message brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, Project Yellow Light, Noise, and the Ad Council.
in Will time. Thanks for joining us today. For those of our viewers that are well-heeled, I just wanted to tell you about...
well-heeled?
Well-heeled. Did you like that?
Yes, I did.
I don't know where these things come from. But anyway, Bentley Motors Incorporated is recalling more than 6,000 vehicles globally, including 1,900 of them here in the U.S. over a leak in the fuel line quick connector.
Oops.
Vehicles are the Bentayga V8 SUVs. What are those?
That's their
couple of million?
Yeah.
They were built between January of 2018 and March of 2020, mostly for the U.S. market. The recalled components in the vehicle are the fuel system, gasoline hoses, lines, piping, and fittings, according to National Highway Traffic Safety Administration.
They'll rename it to the Flaming Spur.
If a leak occurs, there will be an odor of fuel and a risk of
a thermal event. Steve Apking's watching us, and Steve Apking knows what thermal event is. He's one of the engineer friends of mine up in Detroit.
Fire. Fire. Fiat Chrysler recalling 27,000 hybrid minivans globally, about 22,580.1 of them in the United States, because of a 12-volt battery connection might pose the risk of a thermal event. Recall is limited to Chrysler Pacifica hybrid minivans from the 2017 to 2020 model years. Quote, unquote, out of an abundance of caution, FCA said, it is asking customers to avoid parking their vehicles inside buildings or structures. It also is advising customers to not park near other vehicles or place wet items or liquids that may spill in the second row seating area.
So they want you to socially distance your s'mores-making flamethrower.
Oh, my God. Hey, Ford's in trouble.
Again.
Owners of the 2011 to 2019 model year Ford Mustangs are suing the automaker for what they allege are defective manual transmissions that have caused the pony cars to slip, jerk, and clash gears while shifting. Sounds like some bad marriage to me.
Or somebody just doesn't know how to drive a manual transmission.
A suit seeking class action status filed last year in California and transferred last month to U.S. District Court for the Eastern District of Michigan alleges Ford knew about defects in the Getrag MT 82 six-speed manual for a decade. Since 2011, the lawsuit says Ford has issued seven special service messages and technical service bulletins related to shifting issues and other defects. Ford began using the Getrag in the Mustang for the 2011 model year when it replaced the Tremec T5 and the TR 3650 manuals. They began receiving complaints shortly after the MT82 transmission's launch.
Oh, that's not good when they have that many bulletins on one. They're going to lose that one in court.
Back to school on that mess right there. And one more, since we're on the subject of Ford Motor Company. You ready? Ford Motor Company said Wednesday it'll recall 2.15 million U.S. vehicles with potential faulty door latches. Don't fall out.
The door pops open while you're driving.
The automaker said the recall covers many Ford and Lincoln vehicles from 2011 through 2015. The recalled vehicles may not have had all door latches replaced or correctly replaced when repaired by dealerships under recalls issued in 2015 and 2016.
This is the third recall for the exact same
door
issue.
Latches?
For door latches popping up. For doors
What
popping open.
in the world? Are you kidding me?
The key is wear your seatbelt. Otherwise, when your door flies open, you're going to fly out with it. Well, Ford also recalled 344,000 F-150 pickup trucks for a fluid leak in the brake master cylinder.
Oh, really?
Yes.
No, well, I was not aware of that.
Lots of stuff. So the key is at least every other or every third month, go to www.safercars.gov, punch in your vehicle serial number, and see whether or not your car is involved in a recall. Because if you look at these door latches on the Ford, they're recalling it now for the third time. So you may have had the first one and the second one done. Now it's time to get the third one done. You already know where to go.
And you got to wear your seatbelt in case the door comes open or it don't stop. Either one.
Yeah, and prepare for the fourth one, right? Honda this week experienced a pretty massive cyber attack that actually shut down production operations here in the United States.
Seriously?
Yeah. So it only shut them down for a couple of hours. But, you know, the more everybody jumps on the internet and how intermingled that is with what goes on in the assembly plants, what goes on in the banking industry and the hotel industry, lots and lots of people are becoming cyber attacked. And I think what's going to happen is some of those facilities, some of those business operations are going to have to be what's called an intranet that is not hooked to the open worldwide internet. So, but yeah, they shut down production in Marysville as well, which is where they build all the Accords.
Well, I've had a little mess up over here.
That's why I was adding some of my news.
Well,
to
thank
your
you very
news.
much, and I certainly appreciate it. So we're not going to have any opening music until I can get all that figured out, but this is the end of our first hour of our program, or segment 2, as it were. So why don't we just go ahead and start segment 3 and the second hour of our program right now. So from Studio A in Texas, USA.